Okay, should be up now. Let's check. Am I audible? Yep. Awesome. Cool. I am unsure why that was the case. But Tarek, welcome. It's not my birthday, but thank you. No worries. I'm glad people like the video. Okay, so first thing I'm going to try playing is going to be this Coffers control list, which is from Black Lotus on the Discord. I made a couple of changes, some out of necessity, some because I didn't agree with the list in certain ways. We're going to try this. We're going to see what happens. I have the list up on Stream Decker, which means exclamation point deck should get you the deck list if you want to see it. So I'm going to take this into a two-man. Provided, of course, I choose the right deck. Hey, Sissia, how's it going? I'm having a little bit of trouble getting started here. Why is... They really updated... That's really annoying. Anyway. Thanks, Tarek. This is a mulligan. This might work. I'm going to keep... I'm going to put back... I guess the second map. Opponent leads on Plains Thraben Inspector. We are going to lead on Swamp Map because we really need to draw a second land. That isn't Cabal Coffers, of course. Opponent attacks us for 1. We take 1. They play a second Thraben Inspector and a Sacred Foundry tapped. We untap and draw Fatal Push. Well, play Cabal Coffers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hand. They've got Skyclave Apparition, Imperial Recruiter, and Brought Back. Okay, well, we gotta take Skyclave Apparition. I don't want them to take out my Expedition map before I can use it. That would be just absolutely terrible for us. Opponent plays Flagstones. Hits us for 2. Plays Imperial Recruiter. It's not Tron. It's actually Black Lotus's list from the Discord with a couple of tweaks. Opponent gets a Magus of the Moon. Alright. Thought sees you. Another Imperial Recruiter. Take Magus. Technically, Magus helps us by letting Coffers tap for black, or tap for red, but... Porter, lay down. Opponent hits us for 3, we go to 12. How am I today? I had a bad day. Opponent gets a Squadron Hawk, we untap. We draw a Swamp. So, play a Swamp, pass the turn. He wasn't laying in a spot where you could see him, but now he is. Okay, opponent plays an Arid Mesa. They go to combat. They attack for 4, take 4, go to 8. They go squawking. Yep. Get a whole bunch of Squadron Hawks. Then they pass, so on their end step, it's tutor with map, go get an Urborg. Untap. We draw Urborg, of course. So play Urborg. This gets us up to 5 mana. But what can we do here? With 5 mana, I could Fatal Push something and uptick Karn. I could Fatal Push 2 things. Nice. You know what's funny is I started reading that comment to the song. So, it was very successful. Very successful troll. Alright. I think this is our best play. Uptick, blow up a clue. And once again, it is not my birthday, but thank you. Opponent's trying to crack their clue, but doesn't read Karn. So I think if we draw another Coffers, we can play Ugin, but that implies we draw another Coffers. Appreciate it. Opponent evokes Solitude. This might be a Flicker deck. Oh, they're gonna bring it back. That's what it is. So they get back Arid Mesa and Solitude with brought back. That is annoying. So I think we have to draw another Cabal Coffers. They go to combat. They attack us for exactly lethal. Fatal Push Squadron Hawk. Go to 1. Opponent plays a Squadron Hawk. Does not tutor. We untap. We draw Profane Tutor, which is going to be way too slow. I do have Oblivion Stone, but that's 8 mana. So like if I could play Oblivion Stone, I could just play Ugin. I have 5 mana, so I have to play my other Urborg. Hey, Anacker, how's it going? I've not had the greatest day. I'm looking forward to streaming. Walking Ballista's not going to do enough. We, actually... Are we dead? Because Wormcoil Engine cannot block that Squadron Hawk. I got Elixir. I could get Ensnaring Bridge and try and empty my hand. Hey Mixum, how's it going? Is it early today? It'll be alright. Let's see. Let's see if I have a way out of this. I have to stop everything from attacking or I have to gain life. Opponent has 8 power on board, so Elixir of Immortality is not enough. Elixir plus Fatal Push is not enough either, because that does not answer their Solitude. Profane Tutor is far too slow. We can't empty our hand for bridge. Wormcoil Engine plus Fatal Push would do it, but I only have exactly 6 mana. Yeah, this is a different version of Coffer's Control. Alright, it looks like we're dead. I'm running into the problem of the mana base hurts a lot. This is Black Lotus's list with 4 Coffers, 4 Urborg. I definitely don't want to be playing 4 Urborg. I want to be playing 3. Yeah, we're just going to run it back. Yeah, but Revolt for push didn't matter. Solitude's 5 mana, and that's the only creature that I could have killed to maybe stay alive. And I would have stayed alive at 1. And Fatal Push doesn't hit Solitude because Solitude is 5 mana. Every other creature had 1 power on board. Okay, I would like to play first. This hand looks keepable. I will keep. Play a Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Sacred Foundry tapped. We draw a Swamp. Suspend Profane Tutor, pass the turn. I did not detract from Read the Bones. I said it's the best Sign in Blood number 5 you could play. So, I don't know who said that, but it wasn't me. I said it's worse than Sign in Blood, I think on average, because Sign in Blood being 2 mana versus 3 is a big deal. But out of 3 mana Sign in Bloods, especially in Sorcery Speed, Read the Bones is far better than a lot of other ones. Alright, let's see what our opponent's doing. Showdown of the Scalds. Interesting. Let's cast Profane Tutor. And I think the plan is Cabal Coffers. We draw a Heartless Act. So... Play a Swamp. Play Karn. Wish. Let's go get Coding. Pass the turn. Ha 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 ha, Derek. Nice. Okay, put a plays a Sanctifier and Vec. As if that matters to me. And they play a Skyclave Apparition to take out Karn. That was a very dumb combination of 2 cards to play. Because now I could kill the Skyclave Apparition. get a blue token to block the Sanctifier. It's funny. Alright, we untap. Coffers first would be better. Yeah, but like I don't want to encourage them to play land destruction. What's my favorite movie from 2000 to 2010? I have no idea how to answer that question. I'm gonna play an Expedition map here. Pass the turn. Okay. Showdown of the Scalds. Hey, Sigma, how's it going? Imperial Recruiter. They're gonna make Skyclave Apparition bigger. That's fine. They also couldn't put counters on Sanctifier because Showdown of the Scalds was red. They get a Magus of the Moon. And they're going to pretend like that matters. So that's going to become a 4/4. Okay, yeah, this is fine. It's actually not fine. Kano miscalculates. It's not that big of a deal, though. It's not my birthday, Sigma, but I appreciate it. So... they didn't go for the double attack in case we had a removal spell, and that's fine. So what we're going to do here is... activate map. I'm going to go get Urborg. Take 4. Then we're going to destroy Magus. Untap. Draw Karn. Play Urborg. Play Ugin. Hey, Raelin. And -3. Okay, opponent's turn. Opponent is going to Cleansing Wildfire my coffers. Once again, as though that matters. Opponent plays an Arid Mesa. They play another Sanctifier, exiling their own Cleansing Wildfire. And they're going to Skyclave Apparition, nothing. Okay. We untap. We draw Expedition Map. So, kill Sanctifier. Play Map. Map. Get Coffers. Play Coffers. Activate it. Play Karn. Play Coding. Blow up a Sacred Foundry. And I'll finish off with a Sign in Blood. Okay, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Thraben Inspector. Bring it on, Six Sigma. Good news. We get a Profane Tutor. It's not if the opponent can win from this spot, Ocean Infinity. It's whether or not I can lose. Blow up a land. Shoot Skyclave. Woo! Someone graduated law school. Well, bar exam. That's different, but good job. My congratulations to you and your fiance. I could take another expedition map. I'm gonna go ahead and let's just gain a bunch of life with the rest of our mana. Go to combat. Attack for 4. Passed a bar exam once, but it was all about his favorite beers. It's a good one. That's nice. Still no sideboard. Run it back. So we're playing Heartless Act because Victim of Night, I think, is still not working. I can't keep a one-lander. This I can, however, keep. The problem is how the game is coded. It is not going to be a 5-minute fix. Touching a legacy code base is never a 5-minute fix. Let's go ahead and lead on Thoughtseize. It should be a 5-minute fix, by all rights. Absolutely should be, but it is not. Alright, I'm going to take Brought Back, because I don't want them ramping. I don't care if they play Sanctifier Envec. What title do you want, Sigma? Opponent plays Sanctifier after playing Flagstones. We untap. We draw another Urborg, which is not great. Victim of Night cannot legally target anything in the game right now. Take Magus from them. Mixum, thank you for cheering. You don't even have a golden emote? Oh, nice. Can you do you have it now? All right, pass the turn. There you go. The big no emote. I still got to get around to adding the dog emotes. We draw a Karn, Great Creator, which is fine. Play an Urborg. We're going to read the bones because ideally we want to get a Coffers here. Erebos' Intervention, Cabal Coffers are probably the best two cards we could put on top of our deck. So we'll go ahead and draw those. I'm just going to sack their clue and draw. I appreciate the bits, though, Mixum. Opponent plays an Arid Mesa and cracks it for a Plains. Plays a Showdown of the Scalds. Okay. Well, they got a Cleansing Wildfire, so I do not want to play out Cabal Coffers. So instead what I'm going to do here is play a Swamp. I'm expecting my opponent to cast Cleansing Wildfire on Urborg. I'm just going to fire this off now, because I don't want them to have the ability to get their creature back with Brought Back. Whoa! Mixum! Thank you for gifting a Tier 1 sub to Raelin, and Ocean Infinity, thank you for gifting a Tier 1 sub to Jerzane. I'm sure they appreciate it. Tarek, nice one. Nice. A playset of Tail's End and a couple of Shadow of Doubts. I mean, like, it's a rude thing to do to somebody. Opponent plays a land out of exile. Opponent fetches and shocks, so they're going to go for a Brought Back play here. They may Cleansing Wildfire Flagstones to ramp and then bring back a bunch of stuff. Okay, they're going to play Imperial Recruiter. Tail's End counters Monkey. Yeah, turn after your opponent plays Monkey. Opponent gets another Magus of the Moon in their hand. And then they Cleansing Wildfire themselves, making Recruiter bigger. Sure. I mean, like, Shadow of Doubt was good versus, like, the Titan deck that I played against the other day, because, like, stopping them from tutoring for Titan, still having to pay for Pact, like, that's good. It's not a bad idea, Sissia. It really isn't. Let's see how much mana I have now. 5, 6, 7. So I could play Karn and then go get Ensnaring Bridge. And I think I am going to tutor for Ensnaring Bridge, but I'm going to... Actually, is Wormcoil Engine better? Wormcoil Engine might be better. I'm going to go get Wormcoil Engine. Then Inquisition of Kozilek. Opponent has so many Magus of the Moons and an Ephemerate. I'm going to take Ephemerate from them here, I think. I can't take both Magus of the Moons, so that's fine. They can have them. Okay, so anytime they cast a spell, they can put a 1/1 counter on something. We can shrink down Imperial Recruiter if we have to. Okay, they're going to Magus of the Moon, putting a counter on Recruiter. Sure. They're going to Magus of the Moon, putting a counter on Magus because we're playing Heartless Act. This is also fine. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks Karn, attacks us. So take the counters off the Imperial Recruiter, so we get to keep our Karn. That's a really weird interface for that card. Like a really weird interface. We draw Inquisition. So we have 6 mana. I could go get Ensnaring Bridge. My opponent has... what's it called? The... what is it called? Mix'em gifting a sub to Larry Legend 420. Thank you so much. You're a wonderful person, and I really appreciate the support. I think what we're going to do is just uptick Karn here. Float mana, because even though this is a mountain, I think it's still legendary. Yep. Play Wormcoil. Pass the turn. So, I mean, as long as they don't have a path, I think they're going to have trouble answering that. Opponent plays Squadron Hawk. Then plays Squadron Hawk. Then plays Squadron Hawk. So many Hawks. Opponent can swing everything at Karn. They don't. Okay. Inquisition. Take Imperial Recruiter. Go to combat. Attack for 6. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the criteria to start the train is. Let's go ahead and wish. Get Ensnaring Bridge. Play it. And play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play an Inspector. They play Sanctifier. They play their remaining Hawk. We have no idea what's left in their hand. We untap. We draw another Expedition Map. Blow up the Clue. Crack Map. We will get a Cabal Coffers. Play it. Play Map. Pass the turn. So opponent has to top deck a the Core Spirit to attack. It's not even that unlikely that that happens. We untap. We draw a Fatal Push. Okay. So crack Map. Get a Swamp. Play a Swamp. And kill one Magus. Uptick Karn. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Showdown of the Scalds. They get an Ephemerate. So they can Ephemerate Imperial Recruiter to go get the core they need. They play Sanctifier Envec. And they can play this Ephemerate at any time. Okay. So we untap. We draw a Swamp. Play a Swamp. Downtick Karn. Yeah, we're getting O-Stone. I was briefly considering oh, what's it called? Opponent has to Ephemerate now if they want the value. Okay. They Ephemerate Imperial Recruiter. Enters the battlefield. They get Imperial Recruiter. Okay. So they untap. Ephemerate comes off Suspend. Or off Rebound, excuse me. I guess I have to play a little bit faster because I'm running out of clock here. Oh no, they can't. It doesn't rebound because it wasn't cast from their hand. So what I'm going to do is put a Fate counter on Karn. Actually, I might just put a fate counter on bridge. I doubt they have instant speed artifact removal. It's just the core Skyclave Spirit that we have to worry about. So opponent plays. Showdown of the Scalds. Putting a counter on a Squawk. Cleansing Wildfire, Marsh Flats, Flagstones. They're going to destroy my mountains. Put a counter on the worm. I guess that's fair. Okay. Man, these Cleansing Wildfires would be good against any other slow deck that isn't us. Okay, put a fate counter on the Worm Coil. Untap. We draw Obnixilis. Alright, sure. Blow up the world. Thoughts on Circle of Protection red for this mana? It's 2 mana intensive. And if you happen to go up against actual burn, Skullcrack stops Circle of Protection from working. Attack them for 6. Opponent goes to 3. I haven't had time to test with it yet. It is coming, just not yet. Opponent gets an Imperial Recruiter for a Thraben Inspector. They play Thraben Inspector. They draw a card. Okay. We untap and draw Karn. Do we just Karn for Ballista? Right? That's fine. Let's play Obnixilis and try and draw a card first. Because, like, drawing a removal spell, getting a Planeswalker on board as an additional threat, I think it's better. Hey, D-Slayer, how's it going? Another Karn. Alright. I know he's a removal spell, but I'm not down ticking him against a 1-power creature. Attack for 6. Opponent's gonna chump. They're gonna double block. Oh, they're gonna brought back. That's what's happening. That's fine. I'm doing okay. Today was really crappy. Could I do a deck review for the list you just posted? Maybe. I'll have to import it in a bit. Okay, so opponent got a Skyclave Apparition. But Skyclave Apparition does not do anything against Obnix. I mean, it doesn't make it happen any faster. It's fine. It was just a crappy day at work. There is a solution, it just hasn't happened yet. Opponent plays 2 3-mana 2/2s. No. No, if I got fired, I wouldn't be streaming. Actually, if I got fired, I probably would be streaming. Alright, Fatal Push. Go ahead and draw an extra card here. Get a Swamp. Play Swamp. Play Karn. Let's go ahead and Wish. And let's get Walking Ballista, because Ballista will kill our opponent. Okay. Alright, we got the match. Okay, I gotta restart the client because it's already lagging. It's probably gonna get worse because the new set files just got released. New set's not out yet, though. So this is the Tail's End list. I like how it's Bant control and it doesn't even play green. Because of Prismatic Ending. So just looking at this list, I don't really see any problems with it. I mean red. Oh, Jeskai. I mean, you're not actually playing red, so one of those Raugrin Triomes should be like a Ketria Triome. Or something that taps for other colors. Because you want to be able to get 5 colors for Prismatic Ending in some weird circumstances. But that's really the only criticism I have. I've played against this list, almost exact list, not that long ago. Well, I mean, like, not minus the Tail's Ends and stuff. It was actually this traditional control. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it would be an effective control list by all marks. I keep looking at it like, oh, where's all the paths? Where's all that stuff? And I realized I haven't played Blue-White Control since, like, all Prismatic Ending and stuff came out. So, I mean, it looks fine to me. I would, you know, I wouldn't make that many changes. Just the one adjustment to the mana base, and I think it'd be fine. Recall, thank you for resubscribing. 6 months. Glad to have you. You're a wonderful human being, and I appreciate the support. I don't nearly have the cards for that. I don't think. Maybe I do. Update with versions and collections. Am I really only missing one Hall of the Storm Giants? I guess. I don't feel like playing this right now. I'm going to stick with the mono black deck for a little bit. No worries. Sorry I don't have more to offer right now. I am going to cut one Urborg, and I'm going to play a Swamp. The like the double Urborg hands were just crazy. And with 22 lands, I want actual mana production more often. Like, the 4 expedition maps are fine to make sure that I can continue making land drops when the game goes along. That seemed reasonable. I might go down all the way to 2 Profane Tutor and go up to 4 Sign in Blood, but... yeah. And I mean, so does 4 times Coffers, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to go to 3 Coffers. I think 4 Coffers is fine. Because while the deck doesn't need it to run, it does make it better. Thanks for stopping by, Anacker. Glad to have you. Oh, man. Alright, you know what? I'm going to take this into a full league. Make sure I've got the right deck. Okay. This version of the deck seems reasonable enough. It's a lot more reasonable than the crazy cycling version that I was playing that apparently just had no payoff. Alright, round 1. Are we tryharding? I mean, we're playing a competitive league. It's not really tryharding. That's how I do all of my videos. Even the Mad Meta ones. I usually play in a competitive league. I don't play in 2-mans. Perfect. Opponent mulligan to 6. That's probably good news. They lead on a Flooded Strand. want to play an expedition map. If this is control, I would rather them prismatic ending this map. I mean, it's one of the only things they can prismatic ending, but I'd rather put that in under a counterspell. If they answer the map, I have Inquisition. Alright. Let's play Urborg. I'm just going to wait crack map for coffers. Probably coffers, not guaranteed to be coffers. There's a field. So I'm just going to actually get a basic swamp. Because 4 lands, 3 swamps, 1 coffers is where coffers like starts to be mana neutral. So let's lead on Inquisition because we're playing against control. Counterspell, Archmage's Charm, Teferi, Cryptic, Solitude. Take Counterspell. And Sign in Blood. Opponent does not have double blue, which is important. They're going to probably Field of Ruin to go get a basic island, though. So get another swamp. Opponent cracks Flooded Strand. It's a Hallowed Fountain untapped. And they're going to play 3 mana Teferi, it looks like. Yep. Okay. They're going to down-tick him to try and find a land. They did not find a land. We draw Read the Bones. So, play Coffers. Activate Coffers to get 3 mana. And Read the Bones. I do want a swamp. I do not want an Erebos' Intervention right now. Swamp is fine. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. Opponent has Archmage's Charm, Cryptic, Snapcaster Mage. I'm going to take Charm from them. Charm's how they're going to draw more cards. And as long as we keep drawing more cards than they do right now, we're fine. Now, if they don't top deck a land, what do? Just uptick Teferi and pass? It's not that great. We draw a Sign in Blood. So, play a swamp. Activate Coffers. Let's go ahead and Read the Bones. Expedition map, Inquisition. Yeah, I'll put both of those back. So, Inquisition only hits Snapcaster, but they do have 1 unknown in hand. It also potentially denies them Snapcaster for Counterspell. So we're going to fire off Inquisition. I mean, even if they flash in Snapcaster, I can just Fatal Push. Okay. They have Cryptic Solitude, Teferi, Jace. So, play map. Pass the turn. Because we can map for a second Coffers, or we can map for an Urborg, depending on whichever is better. Probably Urborg. We're more likely to just draw Coffers. Okay, here comes the Jace. Maybe casting Sign in Blood was better than Expedition Map there, because we could have just drawn another Coffers or an Urborg without expending the mana for next turn. Because, like, if I can play Teferi this, or if I can play Ugin this turn, like, it's game over. Like, they have Solitude, but Solitude doesn't hit Planeswalkers. They're digging for a land. That much is certain. So next turn, if I just play a swamp, I can just play Ugin and wipe both Planeswalkers out of existence, right? Because that would be 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Play Ugin. -4. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island, so they can play Big Teferi and tuck Ugin. They uptick him. That's interesting. We untap. We draw Kozilek. Is mapping for Coffers or mapping for Urborg more mana? If I map for Urborg, I'm going down 2 mana, getting an Urborg. I have 4 untapped. I can spend 2 of it in Coffers to then get 1 or 6 mana and then 2 more, and that's mana neutral. If I map for Coffers, then I have 2 mana, and this makes 5, 6. And then Coffers, and 2 of that makes 5 more, which is 9. Technically, Coffers is more mana. I think what we do is start by casting Sign in Blood. Another Ugin and a Thoughtseize. Okay, shoot Teferi. And I'm going to crack map. I mean, I guess I should have cracked map first, but... I'm going to get an Urborg, because that lets me leave up Heartless Act and Fatal Push. Well, Coffers next turn means Kozilek. Let's get a Coffers. Play Coffers. Thoughtseize our opponent. Double Cryptic and Stoneforge. So... maybe. I took Castle Lochthwain out of the list. Because I don't like what it does to the mana. I'm thinking it's either Stoneforge or Cryptic here. I'm going to take Stoneforge, because that's how they're going to apply pressure. Pass the turn. 3 in this current list. Opponent fields a coffers. We get a swamp. Okay, so they untap their mana. We untap. We draw coffers. Fun. Play coffers. Kill Teferi. Yeah, Heartless Act is a replacement for Victim of Night because Victim of Night on Moto is bugged. I would say that Victim of Night is better, probably 80-85% of the time. Heartless Act is like the next best one. Okay. Cast Kozilek. Opponent's gonna have to Cryptic that. Okay, we got an Erebos' Intervention and an Inquisition. Cast Inquisition. I mean, like, it is possible. It's just not likely, and most of the time, you can still shrink Murktide with it. Doomblade is definitely not the replacement you want, trust me. Is my opponent making a token? Okay, they're casting Solitude. So they are going to exile our guy. That's fine. We gain 12 life. We draw Profane Tutor. Shoot our opponent. Murktide is not that big of a problem. It's a problem, but it's not that big of a problem. Opponent is going to Cryptic Bounce our Ugin. Sure. I kind of just want to exile their grave with Erebos' Intervention. If your opponent is playing a max value Murktide on turn 2, you have bigger problems than not having an answer to it. It's the fact that your opponent just cast like 6 spells. Alright. Let's just exile their grave. No Snapcaster shenanigans. I could have waited to do that, but I'm going to cast 2 Ugins next turn, probably. Okay, opponent plays Stoneforge Mystic. Let's see what they tutor up. Kaldra, huh? Okay, Fatal Push. We untap. Profane Tutor taken down. We draw Karn, Great Creator. Play a Swamp. Play Karn. They have to counter this. I'm like 99% sure they do. Okay. Cryptic counter draw. This does not exile planeswalkers, it only exiles creatures. Okay. Play Ugin. Shoot our opponent. Pass the turn. Yeah, but this is the problem of having multiple planeswalkers with the same name. It's like I can't cast this other Ugin for value, which is the one thing that I really liked about my Fun of deck. Opponent's going to counterspell Profane Tutor. Sure. We draw a Swamp. Shoot our opponent. They have enough mana to play Kaldra, so we're just gonna wait. If they hardcast Kaldra, then we play Ugin and exile the token. But that might be literally our only answer. But it makes a human token. Kill it. They play Kaldra. I can hit Ugin for 5? How is Victim of Night bugged? You can't target anything with it. Is it X or less, right? Yeah, so -0 Ugin. They're going to path their own Kaldra. Sure. Spend Profane Tutor. And I'm going to cast another Ugin so I can put them on a clock faster. Yeah, no, you literally cannot target anything with it. Shoot our opponent for 3. Small indie company. Small indie dev team. It's more like it. Wizards does not pay their programmers well. Opponent drew a Flooded Strand. We draw a Swamp, shoot our opponent again. Pass the turn. So they can make a 1/1 with Castle, and they can suit it up with Kaldra, but they can't kill Ugin unless they get a big Teferi to, like, tuck him. And then we could literally just tutor him up again and Lightning Bolt them. This is the old 8-mana Lightning Bolt. Sword of Fire and Ice. Okay. Opponent plays and equips Sword. We go to combat, they attack us. We take damage, they shoot us, they draw a card. And that card is not an answer for Ugin. Alright, so I guess we bring in these 5 cards. And Heartless Act is coming out. Fatal Push is somewhat okay because it does kill Colonnade and it does hit tokens, so I'm going to leave 2 in the deck. Erebos' Intervention hitting the grave is fine. I have Extirpates though now, so I think I'm going to cut one Erebos' Intervention. I might want Damnation, but it's kind of questionable, so I'm going to cut Damnation. Run it back. I mean, so this looks like a hand. I really wish it had a Thoughtseize, though. Do I have to keep this? I think I have to keep this. I also have to play faster with the clock. So I might have to restart the client before the final game. If we lose this one, assuming. Opponent leads on Flooded Strand. We draw Ugin. Play a Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Scalding Tarn. We draw Thoughtseize. Let's play a Thoughtseize. They have Archmage's Charm, Solitude, 4 lands. Take Archmage's Charm. We're going to rush to try and play out Karn. The old control, keep no action spells, or keep 1 action spell versus the deck that's running 8 Thoughtseizes. Or 10 Thoughtseizes post-board. It's crazy. Yeah, opponent plays a Hallowed Fountain tapped, we untap. We draw a Swamp. Play a Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent plays an island, passes, we untap. We draw Expedition Map. They've had 2 draw steps to try and find a counterspell, of which they almost certainly have one. I think we still just try and play out Karn. Okay, they found one. Pass the turn. They play a field. We untap. We draw Read the Bones. Play Expedition Map. We have not played a land yet. So I think I'm actually going to crack map for a Coffers and play it. They want to field me, they can field me. Okay. Get a Swamp. Second field is like kind of a problem, but also not. They play a Flooded Strand, which is a card we didn't know they had. Okay, we draw Inquisition. Activate Coffers. Fire off Inquisition. If they counter this, or if we take a counter from them, we can play Obnixilis and then just start drawing a bunch of cards. So they're going to flash in Solitude, and that's fine. We don't like we do have an instant speed answer in the form of Erebos' Intervention, but like it doesn't kill Obnixilis in 1 hit. We need the extra cards. Okay. Okay, we draw a Sign in Blood, pass the turn. He's nowhere near the power level of Teferi. He has a lot of the same effects and a lot of the same usage, but he's nowhere near that power level. Okay, they hit Ob. We draw a card. We wouldn't mind drawing a land first. That's kind of a land. Not really. So play map. Activate map. Get an Urborg. Play Urborg. Kill Solitude. Cryptic counter draw. Okay. We'll follow up with Read the Bones then. Would you run Teferi over Ob here if both were 5 colorless? Absolutely. Sign in Blood to the bottom, Cabal Coffers on top. Pass the turn. Put a Blaze of Field. They play a Stoneforge Mystic. We get Sword of Fire and Ice. So they can equip Solitude with Sword. Okay, they field Urborg to give us a swamp. Is really untapping 2 worth inferior removal? It's not inferior. Teferi can take non-land permanents and hide them. And it hides them in such a way that your opponent doesn't get them back immediately. Even if they have like a draw spell, generally, they can't play the draw spell and the other card in the same turn. That is a huge, huge difference. Alright, let's draw a card. And the untap effect allowing us to hold up like a Doomblade is also superior. Not to mention, we don't lose life when we uptick. Like, his ult is better versus control decks, but like Teferi's ult also just wins the game versus anything. He's basically superior in every way. So we'll play Cabal Coffers, number 2. Get a bunch of mana. Play an Ugin. Kill Solitude. Push Mystic. And Sign in Blood. Money? Money is never a consideration when talking about a deck's power level. In terms of what is optimal. If you want to talk budget, like, it's different. So opponent gets Cauldron Complete. Obnixilis is cooler. Okay, sure. You got me there. Okay. Cauldron coming in to kill Ugin, or hit Ugin. Okay, we draw Read the Bones. So, -2 Ugin. Uptick Ob. Play map. Activate map. Get Urborg. Play Urborg. Read the Bones. Expedition map to the bottom. Karn to the top. Activate. Play Karn. Wish. Okay, game's over. I was gonna go get Sundering Titan. Alright, we won the match. We beat Control. Hang on while I restart the client to mitigate lag. No, there's no mistaking that this is a powerful form of the deck. I like my form. I like mine better. My version of the deck is like objectively worse in terms of power level. My original version, not the version I just played. It is basically objectively worse when it comes to power level, but like casting Increasing Ambition and casting Worst Fears in Modern, like, just gives me the dopamine that I can't get anywhere else. I don't think I said any of those words, Cyssia. No, it's not the same. That's not the same at all. Kano and his dopamine-seeking community, but by being mean to people. Yeah, true. Keep. Worst Fears is, in a way, actually better than Mindslaver, because you generally only have to do the effect once, especially if your opponent's not anticipating it, and nobody's going to anticipate frickin' Worst Fears. You know what? Take Bauble from them. Let's deny them a draw. This is definitely a food deck. We're playing Karn. They have Urza's Saga, which is a little bit of a problem. But they lead on Polluted Delta. We untap. Draw Swamp. Play a Swamp. Pass the turn. We have Erebos' Intervention for instant speed Grave Hate. Targeted instant speed Grave Hate. Okay, opponent plays Engineered Explosives on 0, then plays Urza's Saga. And plays an Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Okay. We untap. We draw an Expedition map. Now the question is, am I only going to need to exile 2 cards from the grave? Yeah, we need to get map on board. Okay, pass the turn. Saga ticking up. Opponent shocks a Watery Grave. So we're going to exile Bauble, and we're going to exile the Underworld Cookbook. No Bauble for you. We untap. We draw a Sign in Blood. I think we Sign in Blood this turn and tutor for Coffers. Because then we have enough mana to, like, potentially Karn into... Is that actually enough? Hang on. That would be 6 mana. That wouldn't be quite enough to play Ensnaring Bridge. The alternative is playing Karn here and either blowing up Engineered Explosives or animating Expedition map to block for Karn. Actually, playing Karn and animating map to block for Karn. Does that change? Hang on. Because they could potentially replay Thought Monitor, and that could maybe be an issue. Sign in Blood and Fetch. Yeah, but their clock is going to get really fast because they're going to get Underworld Cookbook off of Urza's Saga next turn. And we only need a turn. So I'm actually going to go with the Karn Animate Map play. Okay. They make a token. Make a blocker. Pass the turn. Because now they can make another token and go get Underworld Cookbook, but they can't kill Karn because we can chump. They can Pithing Needle Karn, actually. That would be unfortunate. But if they Pithing Needle Karn, we'll know, and we won't have to block with Expedition Map. They just get the cookbook. Okay. They play Dark Slick Shores, which is a card we didn't know about. Okay. Run interference for Karn. Karn goes to 5. We untap. We draw another Karn Great Creator. So Wish with Karn. Get... we gotta get Ensnaring Bridge. There's really no way around that. And I think just in case they have a way to deal with Ensnaring Bridge, I probably should kill a token. That puts us at 2 cards in hand, and the biggest token at a 3/3, so they still can't attack. Okay. So they can hit Karn for 1 and prevent us from wishing with him again. If we wanted to keep him, that is. We probably would. I'm thinking if we can get a Grafdigger's Cage. We can probably lock this game up. It's a little awkward having Ensnaring Bridges and a draw spell in the same hand. Okay, opponent plays their Watery Grave. And they just play out Oval Chase. Okay. We untap. We draw Cabal Coffers. That is actually pretty good. So play Cabal Coffers. We now have 6 mana. I'm going to Sign in Blood. So we can practically get empty-handed here if we want. So get a bunch of mana. I don't really want to give up this Karn. I don't want to play out this other Karn yet either. If I uptick this Karn to kill Engineered Explosives... Okay, we're going to suspend Profane Tutor for sure. Uptick Karn to 3. No targets, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Thought Monitor out of the grave, draws some cards. Plays another Urza's Saga. Plays an Aether Spellbomb. We untap, Profane Tutor ticking down. We draw Swamp. Like Sundering Titan, Pithing Needle, none of those really help. There's Walking Ballista, which would be good. I mean, I guess I go with the Walking Ballista. So I'm going to play a Swamp. I could just... No, I've committed. I have to play the Walking Ballista this turn. Play Walking Ballista, X maximum. And I have to kill both of these things. Pass the turn. So Saga ticks up. They have another Emery. They mill themselves. They play another Emery. They mill themselves. Okay, we untap. Profane Tutor coming off suspend. But what do we do here? Could just get like Obnixilis. But I don't want to be drawing cards I can't cast. Same with Kozilek. I guess Ugin does stuff. Yeah, we'll get Ugin. Heartless Act, okay. Play Cabal Coffers. We have 11 mana. So I can uptick on Engineered Explosives. We can play around a single Metallic Rebuke. Shoot Emery. Pass the turn. That's all 4 Emerys in the grave, so we don't need to go get... Okay. Cool. So versus this deck, I want Extirpates and Necromentia. What's bad? I guess Kozilek's kind of bad. They're going to have an infinite amount of blockers for him. And they're going to have an infinite number of tokens to sack to his ability if he ever attacked. So that doesn't really matter. Maybe we cut like Profane Tutor or a Sign in Blood, maybe. It's kind of risky to do that. I'm going to trim 1 Read the Bones. We need the Fatal Pushes. Bloodchief's Thirst is probably our worst remove. Because there's a lot that it doesn't hit natively. Although I do think they might play Tezzeret as an alternate win condition. Well, Joest, I'm glad you're still around. I guess Obnix is actually pretty bad. I'm gonna cut Obnixilis. Hopefully I don't regret that. Alright, we got tutors. We got removal. We got hand hate. Opponent starts Dark Slick Shores, Mishra's Bauble. We draw Sign in Blood. Play Swamp, Inquisition. Opponent baubles us. Glad to know, Sigma. Glad to know. Opponent has Thought Monitor, Saga, nothing else. Okay. So opponent plays Urza's Saga. We draw Blood Chief's Thirst. So play a Swamp. Suspend Profane Tutor. Pass the turn. We potentially might Sign in Blood for a land, hopefully next turn. Into maybe Fatal Push a token. Okay. Profane Tutor ticking down. We drew Cabal Coffers. Okay. It is less important to Sign in Blood now. Because we can Profane Tutor for Urborg next turn. I would much rather have the Fatal Push available for the token that's going to be able to attack. Which I'm going to kill right now because of Thought Monitor related reasons. I haven't done the math, and I refuse to do the math. But that seems reasonable. Opponent makes another token. They get the cookbook. They fetch up a Watery Grave untapped. And they pass. So I think they have Metallic Rebuke. So they could, like, Rebuke Profane Tutor here. That wouldn't be a terrible play. Let's go get Urborg. We draw Inquisition. So, play Urborg. How much mana are we dealing with here? 4. 5, actually. Yeah, we can spend all of this. Lead on Inquisition, just in case of Metallic Rebuke. Opponent ditches Persist, makes a food. Double Thought Monitor. Okay. In that case, let's suspend Profane Tutor and kill this token. I'm going to save Heartless Act because it can hit Thought Monitor easily. The ideal is we draw a land here. The ideal is we draw coffers, but opponent plays Emery, mills some cards. They get Oval Chase Daredevil back. We're making a food. They play an island. And I think they have enough to cast a Thought Monitor here. They do. And does a pretty good job of a divination. They play a Bauble. We untap. Profane Tutor ticking down. They look at our top deck. It's an Urborg. That is unfortunate. So we're going to lead on Sign in Blood. Play a new Urborg. So we can trigger Revolt, use this to kill Emery, and then kill Thought Monitor. So right now we have 5 mana. This becomes 6/7. So we could go get Karn and then play Ensnaring Bridge. You say we know our opponent has Oval Chase Daredevil. They can play Thought Monitor to draw more cards. They have the Chef. Chef can only kill creatures, thankfully. They play the cookbook. They make another food. Play the Thought Monitor. What did they just pay life to? Did they cycle a Street Wraith? Okay. We untap. Profane Tutor coming off suspend. so go get Karn. They're gonna bobble now so they can see what we're drawing. Kind of hoping it's another Coffers. It's another Urborg, which is not what I wanted. Play a Swamp. Play Karn Great Creator. Wish. Get Ensnaring Bridge. Play out Ensnaring Bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They're going to draw a card off Bauble. They play a Flooded Strand. We untap. We draw Necromentia. Man, what would we Necromentia here? I would do Saga, I think. We have a grand total of 8 mana this turn if we want all of it. I could just Pithing Needle on Saga as well. Engineered Explosives is the only way I know for sure they would destroy. We look at some deck lists online really fast. Let's see, what is it? Underworld Cooking is the name of the deck. All the Urza's Kitchen decks are black-green, which is not what I'm looking for. Underworld Cookbook. Just trying to see what other ways they could have to destroy Bridge, because if I can get rid of all of those, I think I win. Okay. So this is not a meta version of whatever deck they're playing. So let's go ahead and Necromentia. I'm going to go with Engineered Explosives. Oval Chase, Daredevil, Thoughtseize. They have Archon of Cruelty in the deck as what looks like a backup win condition. They have Urza. They have Thoughtseize. I don't think they have a way, because they don't have any way to cause direct life loss. I don't think they have a way to beat this Ensnaring Bridge. We just have to beat them without... I mean, Archon of Cruelty could make us sack Karn. I guess that's a thing. Yeah. We just have to not die to Archon of Cruelty. I'm going to play out this other Urborg. I don't need the extra mana. They would have to recur Archon multiple times. So we win with damage, technically. So they wouldn't have to recur Archon that many times. They only have to play it once, get us to sack our Karn, and then we're in trouble because they could just gain 1,000,000 life off the food tokens, and how do we beat them? Because we have a time limit, technically. Yeah, watch for time. I know I'm playing kind of slow, but it was kind of required to determine the path to victory here. Okay, we draw Damnation, which is excellent. Let's go ahead and wish. We'll get coding. Damnation. Shoot 4 damage with walking ballistas every turn. Pass the turn. I'm going to blow up all their lands. And just never let them get to Archon. Okay. Opponent recognizes that was their only way to win. So they scoop, and we are undefeated. Finishing round 2. I'll see you guys in round 3 after I restart the client and you look at my ugly mug up close. Bumping, what Bluetron question? Sorry, I didn't see it. Would the slower monkey meta be better for Bluetron to be good? So Bluetron's a tempo deck. So if the meta is slow, Bluetron should be fine. The slower the meta, the better it would be, I think. Are you asking if it's better than Greentron? All right. Sigma has opened a prediction. Whether or not I will win the next match, you can bet your channel points. Is it better than Greentron without the endurance and 2 vigors? I don't know. I haven't played Bluetron and I wouldn't know for sure. I think Bluetron's probably worse than Greentron. All right, round 3. Here we go. I would like to play first. I'm not going to keep a no-lander, though. We are against a Lurrus deck. I am going to keep this hand. I think... Oh, I kind of want to put back Thoughtseize. Because I kind of want to play Map on 1, Profane Tutor on turn 2, Crack Map on 3. I think I put back Thoughtseize because I don't want to give up any lands right now. I'm gonna lead on Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Hope for no monkey. I was gonna say it's probably hammer time. And I might actually just be dead because I didn't Thoughtseize them. Alright, well, because of my opponent's particular line of plays, we're going to leave up Heartless Act. They play an Inkmoth Nexus. They go to combat. They attack us for 1. No blocks. They play a Colossus Hammer. The old double hammer. Hopefully they don't have a backup plan. Hopefully that was literally them going all in. We untap. We draw an Ugin. So... Crack Map. Get Urborg. Play Urborg. Pass the turn. The reason I did not suspend Profane Tutor there is because I wouldn't have 4 mana next turn unless I drew a land. This guarantees I can play Karn next turn, which should, in theory, win me the game. Opponent plays a Stoneforge Mystic. Getting a Colossus Hammer. So that's a problem unless I draw a removal spell, because they have Sigarda's Aid still. We untap and draw a redundant Urborg. Well, they can't kill us with just one hammer. Play a Swamp. Play Karn. Wish with Karn. And we got to pick up Ensnaring Bridge. Pass the turn. So they either have to remove Karn and have a Pure Steel Paladin, or they have to be holding the 4th hammer. If my opponent has all 4 hammers, then I get... Oh, never mind. They just have Inkmoth Nexus. What am I thinking? I'm dead. I had no way out of that. Unfortunately. Because this is not an artifact land, I couldn't kill it with Karn. I didn't have enough mana to actually wish for anything. Okay. Cool. Extirpate, Necromentia, and Duress coming in. I'm going to drop an Ugin, a Kozilek, Profane Tutor, and it might be the other Ugin, but I like Ugin as like an end game spell. Maybe a map here. Yeah, we'll cut the other Ugin. It reduces the chance that it gets like stuck in our hand for... What do you mean not a ton of main deck removal spells? We have a ton of Fatal Push, Heartless Act. Like, we have like 8. The problem with that game was I put back a Thoughtseize. That was the problem. I'm going to keep this because between Thoughtseize and Necromentia, that should be enough. Should being the operative word. Opponent has Sanctifier, Envec, Pure Steel Paladin. Sanctifier is a problem. Not an enormous problem. Giver of Runes is an issue because of removal spells. We have Damnation in the deck. It's the question of whether or not we can get to it. I think I have to take Sanctifier because I took out Ugin. Pass the turn. Yeah, Paladin's how they win, but in an effort to maybe protect it, I'm wagering they'll keep it in their hand. Like, they did see a deck that, in theory, has a lot of removal spells, right? Player board. Pass the turn. So if they just play Paladin this turn, I'm going to Necromentia and name Colossus Hammer. And then we just have to draw anything that isn't a... Okay. So they went for an Urza's Saga play. We untap and draw Heartless Act, which does make me feel better about myself. Play Cabal Coffers. Necromentia. Name Colossus Hammer. Okay, so we know their hand. They have Mana Tithe? Yeah, I mean, like, if they've got it, then they got us. It wouldn't be that unreasonable for them to have it either. Opponent plays an Inkmoth. So they're just going to go for making tokens off Saga. I'm going to extirpate the Saga for sure. Really just hoping we draw... Well, I mean, that works too. Play a second Coffers. Kill the Giver. Give Memnite protection from black. You got it. They're going to make a token. Okay. They untap. They draw. They should make another token, I think. Okay. Gonna kill this well... Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and kill this construct now. The concern is they drew a second Urza's Saga here. Like, we just need to draw a Planeswalker and we should be fine. They get Springleaf Drum. They play a Plains, so they can play out Pure Steel. Extirpate Saga. Should have waited for the draw step, I guess, but I had the mana. They're holding double Pure Steel and a Pithing Needle. Okay. Yep. Opponent attacks us for 1. There's no reason for them not to play out a Pure Steel here. They play out Pithing Needle, or that too. They could Pithing Needle Karn Great Creator, that way we can't go get an Ensnaring Bridge. And we have no answer for that Pithing Needle. We get a Fatal Push, which at least stops us from taking 1 billion damage. Pass the turn. Now we just need to draw spells. We have all the mana in the world, we just need to do something with it. Okay, Pota plays Pure Steel. I can tap Pure Steel to animate Inkmoth. Or they can play Stoneforge Mystic, that works too. They get a Shadow Spear. They're holding a Pure Steel. Okay, we take 1. There's the Damnation. If I let them untap and play Pure Steel, then play the Shadow Spear, they're going to draw 2 more cards. Whereas if I just Damnation now, they'll only draw 1. They're not going to put Lurrus in their hand. So we just cast Damnation. Play Plains. They play Pure Steel. They put Lurrus in their hand. Okay. Alright. We draw Karn. He doesn't really do anything. He doesn't die immediately. The Null Rod effect kind of matters because they can't equip prior to attacking. But we have no way to answer this Pithing Needle, so I guess he's just a fog. I should not have sighted out all the Ugins. I kind of forgot that Ugin was a big part of like our board wipes and stuff.
So, like, my opponent can now play Giver of Runes and then just keep recycling it unless I draw a removal spell this turn. That was our only Wrath, because we can't get O-Stone and we don't have Ugin. So I sideboarded incorrectly. They just cast Shadow Spear to draw a card. Okay. That potentially gives me one extra turn. They attack us, they ignore Karn. Come on, draw spell. There it is. Sign in blood. Sign in blood. Coffers. Activate. Suspend Profane Tutor. Pass. I don't actually think that's been a problem so far. I think this has been a decent mix. Like, it might outwardly appear that way, but it's not actually that bad. Problem is, if I don't draw a removal spell, I'm going to die. And I have no answer for Pithing Needle because Engineered Explosives is in the sideboard. Yeah, we don't use the Grave. So that puts us at about as dead as we were before. Esper Sentinel doesn't matter. Yeah, I think the problem is we don't have another kill spell. Alright. You got us, opponent. So, I mis-sideboarded. That match was winnable. It was not in our favor, basically, at any point, though. So, alright. Let's move on to round 4. Can I complete prediction? Yeah. Doubters win. No worries. Everybody complains that they always lose channel points, and yet that means that Sigma's like the only one that wins. Because like you can't all lose all the time unless there's some cosmic rule for like Kano, right? Kano's chat can only lose. 50k coming up on this stream. Sigma over there with a big bank. This hand is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Ah, yes. The old Spire Bluff Canal deck. Lead on a swamp, play a map. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Scalding Tarn and passes. We draw Ugin. Play Urborg, pass the turn. Whoa, whoa, watch that last one. Don't lie on my channel. Opponent plays a Fiery Islet. Plays a Dragon's Rage Channeler. Ha ha. Well, the correct term is handsome. Okay? Let's go get Cabal Coffers. Untap. Draw Profane Tutor. Play Cabal Coffers. Play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They're going to cast Manamorphose. So we would probably do well to kill this immediately. I don't get it. And they chart a course. Is this Phoenix? Are they playing Phoenix again? They ditch a Dragon's Rage Channeler? It's a stupid movie, you shouldn't? Okay. Well, as long as I shouldn't, I guess. Then they play a Demi-Lich. We untap. I'm going to up to 5 mana this turn. So let's play a swamp. Activate coffers. Read the bones. Okay, Inquisition, Profane Tutor on the bottom. Thoughtseize, Thoughtseize. We're gonna map for coffers. We're not gonna cast Thoughtseize this turn. The long pause is almost always delve. Yeah. No, generally. They play a tap land. Kind of hoping they just cast another threat, and then we can, like, Ugin them out of the game. There's a Dragon's Rage Channeler. That's a threat. I think I have enough mana to Thoughtseize and Ugin. They're going to chart a course from the grave. They get to Surveil. And they get to draw 2. They don't have to discard. We untap. Draw Swamp. Play Cabal Coffers. Activate Coffers 1. Activate Coffers 2. Lead on a Thoughtseize just to be safe. Bolt Dart Salvaging Phoenix. Okay. Take Bolt. Play Ugin. -4. Pass the turn. So, I mean, they can get a Phoenix onto the board to kill Ugin if they wanted. We draw a map. I can just cast Kozilek, right? Like, if I play a swamp, I'd have 3 more mana. Yeah. Alright. Play a swamp. Shoot our opponent. Cast Kozilek? Draw 4 cards? Seems pretty good. Inquisition. Opponent's probably going to Faithless Salvaging in response. Okay. They discard Phoenix.
chart a course from them. They're holding Island Lava Dart, which I didn't mean to dismiss the island there, but play map, pass the turn. They sack Fiery Islet. They untap. They Faithless Salvaging, ditching the island. So that's one spell. Play Scalding Tarn. They bolt our face. Am I dead? Lava Dart our face. Gut Shot our face. Get back a Phoenix. Attack us for 3, take us to 5. Let's go ahead and map. Get a Coffers. We draw a Sign in Blood. We need to gain life. Actually, we can just kill them by attacking and then getting or shooting them. Like, I do have a 12 power creature. Like, I know math is hard, but like, it shouldn't be that hard, you know? Oh my gosh. So what's bad? I definitely want the Necromentia and the Extirpates. That's a given. I feel like Blood Chief's Thirst is going to be necessary, unfortunately, even though it's not the greatest. I think we cut Obnixilis. Probably need to cut Kozilek. No mathing on your birthday, not allowed. I know, right? Welcome, Oz. Glad to have you. Good to see you. Shouldn't Skred also target Planeswalkers? Skred only targeted creatures, so it wasn't included in the burn spell update they did. Man, what card is bad versus them? I feel like Thoughtseize is actually kind of bad. Like, it can grab threat, but like most of their threats are going to be coming from the grave. Alright. Try like this. Drop Thoughtseize and Thoughtseize for duress. I'll do that in game 3 if I feel like it's necessary, just to prevent the life loss. I already clicked submit, so I couldn't. We will keep this, though. Opponent leads on nothing. We draw Karn. Well, let's inquire. Opponent cracks Scalding Tarn. Gets an island. Spell Pierce. Okay, yeah, sure. Pass the turn. They play Spire Bluff. Nothing. We draw a map. Alright, well, play around Censor, I guess. I am once again asking you, what is in your hand? Opponent has Consider and Blood Moon. Blood Moon hurts them, I think, more than it hurts us. I think I take Consider from them, actually. Yeah, I'm going to take Consider. Play Expedition Map. Because, like, I can just get to 4 mana and play Karn. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. They played Spire Bluff Canal. We drew a land. Perfect. So we're casting Necromentia this turn. What are we naming? We can name Arclight Phoenix. We could name Demi-Lich. I feel like Phoenix probably is the thing to name. It's the highest power, most aggressive attacker they've got, I feel like. Thoughts about this deck? Looks like fun, really. That's my thought about it. Any deck, I feel like it's probably worse than just Indomitable Creativity for Demi-Lich provides more value for a longish game. You really think from no cards in hand, like no relevant cards in hand, they're going to cast 4 spells to cast it for free? I don't have a discard outlet for Phoenix yet. That's true. I guess you are correct there. We can name Demi-Lich. All right. Pass the turn. They play a Scalding Tarn. They pass. We draw a Fatal Push. All right, we're gonna pass. We might need to Fatal Push a hard cast Arclight Phoenix, I guess. They Thought Scour themselves. They play a Mountain. Ye Old Manamorphose. Consider. We do not currently have mana for Murktide. Chart a Course. Ditching a Scalding Tarn. Into nothing. Wow. Alright. We do need to make our land drops. Let's go get a Swamp. Untap. We draw Urborg. Play a Swamp. Play Karn. I think I'm going to uptick him to get him out of bolt range. Or keep him out of bolt range anyway. Pass the turn. We're very close to wishing for a Wormcoil Engine, which would be very difficult for our opponent to deal with. And they scoop. Nice. All right. Look at that. We have 3 rounds where we just went completely undefeated. And we only lost to Hammer Time because it's Hammer Time. All right. So that one's for you, believers. All right, so we'll move on to the final round. We have guaranteed a treasure chest, which is nice. Go ahead and restart the client here. All right. Okay, we do want to play first. Sand looks great. We'll keep. Against a Luris deck, I see. So this could be Hammer Time. It's probably Hammer Time. I'm going to assume that it's Hammer Time, and I'm going to lead on a Swamp. Pass the turn. It's Hammer Time! They play Giver. They play Memnite. They play Memnite. And they pass. We untap. We draw a Swamp. Do I have to kill Giver right now? I mean, killing Giver is the same as casting Heartless Act, because that's the only real thing we can cast Heartless Act on. So if they have Sigarda's Aid, Hammer, we're taking 10. If I cast Sign in Blood, unless I have Fatal Push, or Fatal Push Heartless Act next turn, or the other 1-mana removal spell we have, it's effectively the same. Okay, I'm going to Sign in Blood. Did we play against this guy already? We did not. Okay. Hey, Orfeo, how's it going? Thanks for resubscribing. I really appreciate that. You're a wonderful human being, and I appreciate the support. We have stunned our opponent with a Sign in Blood. I actually think yeah, the Meteorite victory. I was actually thinking earlier, it's possible we may want like a Sickening Shoal or a Slaughter Pact in this deck because of games like this. I think Bantu's Last Reckoning in its like maximum upside scenario is great. The problem is in every other way it's worse than Damnation. And I would not want to main deck Bantu's Last Reckoning over Damnation. Because versus any other deck, I want to untap after I Wrath. And like you can argue that like maybe if we they disconnected. Maybe we activate coffers only, like, right, we tap 3 lands or something like that. But or maybe we can tap our other lands and leave up coffers activation for a Bantu's Last Reckoning. But I think if we're in that scenario, we're fine. What about the Snow 3-mana board wipe? Dead of Winter. We play too many non-snow lands, I think. I didn't think about that, and I
I had to think about that after you brought it up. Because that's a good offering. That's not something I had considered. But we need like our ideal opener is just like Urborg, coffers, like, you know, that kind of a thing. So in that scenario, the board wipe would be completely useless. Not a bad suggestion though. Because like the remainder of our mana base would be fine, right? Because we have only swamps. Yeah, there's got to be a better card though than Bantu's Last Reckoning. There's got to be some other way to achieve that, and that's got to be better, I would imagine. It's kind of better for your worse hands when you're weak. I mean, I guess. It's too bad that like Echoing Decay and Bile Blight are only like -2, -2, and -3, -3. But at the same time, like then they would just completely displace like Grasp of Darkness and Doomblade. I think in an aggro enough meta, we want 2 Damnations in the main deck. That would probably solve the problem. Because with Fatal Push and stuff in the deck, we should be able to stop the nut draw. Like, that shouldn't be an issue. I think Knight of Souls Betrayal is probably worse than Curse of Death's Hold, but that's just me. I mean, well, Knight of Souls Betrayal is not worse than Curse of Death's Hold. I was thinking of, when I first started talking, I was thinking of the Illness in the Ranks. With Great Tutors, this deck is easy. Oh yeah, no, like if we had access to a cheap tutor that was like an immediate payoff tutor. So like Profane Tutor is great. It just like you top deck it when you need to top deck something and it doesn't get you the card you need, you lose. If we had access to like if Mausoleum Secrets just counted black cards in your graveyard instead of creature cards. Opponent disconnected when you showed up, Orfeo. I don't know what you're talking about. I saw the notification for them disconnecting. I cast Sign in Blood. Opponent disconnected. They haven't come back yet. I mean, Grim Tutor, the life loss stacks up. That's the problem. Like I would rather play Mastermind's Acquisition than Grim Tutor. Because I like Karn Great Creator. I like the overlap between Mastermind's Acquisition and Karn Great Creator. Like you can go get a Karn Wishboard target if you need to. But you can also get your other cards if you want. Or you can just go get a win condition from your deck. And I think the 1 extra mana is worth not losing the life. Wishclaw is fine. Like with Karn Great Creator, Wishclaw is actually more playable. But it's a little bit of a problem because it allows your opponent to tutor, right? So they're going to go get the best card to deal with your situation. And yeah, you get 2 looks, but... No, sure, and I'm not debating about Karn versus Mastermind. I'm debating about Mastermind's Acquisition versus Grim Tutor. And I think Mastermind's Acquisition is better than Grim Tutor. We 4-1'd. Opponent left and didn't show up. I cast Sign in Blood and intimidated him out of the game. Let's open our treasure chests. Maybe that'll make me feel better. Treasure chest number 1. 5 play points and a Death Baron. Oh yeah, prediction. Believers. Believers, you win. Doubters, you really got scammed out of that one.
Treasure chest number 2. Karn Liberated. New Phyrexia printing. Is it worth anything? Karn Liberated New Phyrexia is worth 5 tickets on Moto. No problem, Lotus. Thank you for showing me the version of the deck that you brewed up. I do like it. I think it is high power. I think it's a lot more optimum than the list I was playing, of course, but for reasons I've already explained. So, thank you for sharing. And it is Force Negation! Old Border! Old Border Force Negation! We hit the lottery! Woo! So the retro... 72 tickets. Yeah, too bad Toxic Deluge isn't legal. Final pack. We get an Oracle of Nectars and 25 play points. Yeah. 73 tickets. So, I'm going to sell that one. Which one of my Force Negations is worth the most? Hang on. The foil one is technically worth 4 more tickets, but I opened that one out of a pack, and it matches closer. So I'm going to sell that, and I'm going to sell the Karn. Get you an Endurance or 2? Oh, man. So, Lotus, you funded my next month of videos. I appreciate that. What? What? They're only going to give me 60. That's lowballing it. Gotta have another buy bot here somewhere, right? Might have to find somebody to actually trade with. Now they're offering me even less. It's buy listed at 60 everywhere. All right. I'll go with the Moto traders. That gets me 3 more tickets. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Goodbye, Force. Goodbye, Karn. So we won our entry back and 63 more tickets. We won 7 entries, 7.5 entries worth of play points and tickets because we open our treasure chests on this channel. Opening treasure chests is absolutely worth it if and only if you need the play points to enter something. So, all right, I don't have to spend money on Magic for a while. That's exciting. That's a good. Makes me feel better. That's a good karmic balance for today, I think. We did good with a good deck, with a cool deck that people enjoy. I'm scratching dog butt on cam. Give him the dad pat. Am I going to go to pre-release? Probably not. I don't have a car right now. Still D-Slayer. I haven't had a car for a month. My car will not return to me until Friday. Which sucks. But yeah, no, it's super dumb. I think I'm done playing Magic. I'll hang out and talk for a minute. But I'm actually really tired. I love Porter's like half open mouth, maybe crinkle nose face. Let's see if I can get him to do it. No, he's not gonna do it. But yeah, no. So what should have taken, a week and a half to, for them to replace the starter in my car, and for them to do all the body work, repaint it, took them a month because the shop, when I had it towed up there, they said they were busy. But what they really meant was the person who oversees the tow-ins is out, and so they didn't get to it for 3 days. Then when they did get around to it, it was busy. Then they ignored me when I told them, by the way, the starter motor is bad. They're like, oh, you got a bad battery. I just bought a battery, and I just put a battery in, and the battery is fine. Trust me, I checked. And so, like, because they had that 3-day offset, then they had to do this extra thing, which caused it to miss its scheduled bodywork window. So then the body shop called me and said, well, it doesn't move, and they wanted to charge me to tow it literally across the lot because it's all part of the same business. It's so stupid. And they thankfully didn't do that. They thankfully were like, well, we'll just reschedule for when it can drive. Then they called me back and were like, oh, yeah, no, we checked it. The battery's fine. It was the starter motor, but it took them a day to get back on what I told them. And then they tried to argue with me and charge me a whole bunch for like all this extra time they spent. And I was like, you wasted a bunch of days of mine, and I'm not paying for that. So, like, I'll pay you for the work that you did, but you ignored me and are trying to ask for more money because you ignored me. And so I was like, I'm not paying for that. And they were like, okay. And so they didn't argue with me on it anymore, thankfully. But they then finally on Thursday, they had it in disassembly. They called me. I was really busy, so I couldn't answer the call. They finally took it into disassembly and were going to repair it. And so they called me in the middle of the day on Thursday. So they had half a day on Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday to work on it, and didn't, and said they only started painting it on Tuesday. And it takes at least 3 days for auto paint to cure, more depending on whether or not they, like, you know, what the conditions are, you know, if it's humid or whatnot. So, like, I may not even get my car back Friday. So, well, the thing is, they told me over the phone that I had to contact my extended warranty, that they sold me. I had to contact the company that the warranty went through to get it towed. That was the initial thing that I had to do. So I contacted them. I contacted the extended warranty company to get it towed to the shop. And the warranty company said, there's nobody who can tow your car. We're sorry. Despite this being like a 24-hour roadside assistance type deal. They just said, no, call back later. And so I contacted the dealership where I was going to have the repair done, and I said, hey, they just completely stiffed me on this, and this sucks. And I was trying to get it in before the body window, right? And I explained this to them. And they said, oh, okay, that's no problem. We'll call, like, our other company that we have a towing contract with. Then we'll have them charge us, and we'll retrieve the charge from the extended warranty company because we have a relationship with them. They told me that over the phone. Then they discovered, like, 2 weeks later, that they couldn't recover the money from the extended warranty company, or they were just trying to, like, hide some other charge under that, and they tried to get me to pay that, and I was like, no, you guys said you could do it. And I did all this under the assumption that you could do it. So I'm not paying that. And they were like, all right. In addition to, like, the extra hours, because they flat out ignored what I told them the problem was. I didn't pay for that either. So the charges dropped from $1,000. They wanted to charge me, like, just over $1,000 to do all of this work. And there was, like, some other maintenance I knew had to happen, right? Like, the spark plugs needed to be done, and it needed an oil change and all this stuff. But, like, they went from charging me $1,000 down to $600, which is a big drop. So, yeah, it worked out in my favor. It still sucks because there's a lot of money, and I basically I have no money for 2 days, and then when my credit card skates across the finish line at $0, then I have credit to live the rest of the month on. But for the next 2 days, I have to try and not spend money. So getting this Force of Negation for my magic stuff's fantastic, because that was one of the things I was actually kind of worried about. No, I actually almost believed them too. I actually almost paid the extra money, but I was like, you guys already committed to me that I wasn't going to have to pay for some of this stuff. And just bringing that up on the phone was enough to rebuff them from that. So then they stopped. They were like, oh, well, we'll talk to the manager. And then, called me up and did the whole try and save face. Well, I really tried to, I fought for you and made sure that you were taken care of. And because you were told this in the first place, we're not going to charge you. I was like, yeah, that's what you should have said the first time you called, rather than ask me for money because you contradicted yourself. And I was talking to a couple of other friends of mine, and they were like, oh, I just would have paid it. I was like, yeah. So I thought it's ridiculous. So I don't know. I was particularly disgruntled that day, which I think is the only reason why I told him off. Porter's playing lazy tug right now. But oh man. So this is good. This was a good stream. I'm not as chipper and cheerful, but sometimes being a Karen could be a good thing. And normally I don't, there's things you can be reasonable about, right? You can say absolutely, hey, we discovered a lot more problems. We have to get these other parts to fix them. They're not covered by your warranty. It will be more than the estimate. That is a completely reasonable excuse. That is where you have no choice but to pay. But to say you don't have to pay for this and then come back later and say, actually, you need to pay for that. That's scummy, and I'm not going to do that. Sometimes it can be, yeah. It's a little scummy, but oh man, I'm gonna have to go cook food. Yeah, you hear the food word. You like that word? You like that word because it means the T word occasionally. The treat word. Oh yeah, he likes that one. Nosing me. Oh, I'm just going to make hamburger and rice. I've been trying to diet. I've dropped 4 pounds. I'm down to 257 pounds. And so hamburger and rice is the way to go. At least for me. I don't know. It probably doesn't work for everybody. Yeah. But I'm going to have to go because I just promised this kid a treat and he's not going to let me forget it. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Orfeo, Recall, Mix'em, Ocean Infinity, Mix'em again, and Mix'em again. Thank you so much for the donations, the Twitch subs. I really appreciate it. You're all wonderful human beings, and I hope to see you guys again next time. Hopefully we can get another casual stream in on this weekend. I'd like to do that, but we'll see what happens. Alrighty, everybody have a good night. Bye.